Okay, here we go. Let's get started. Um, I want to show you guys my view real quick. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm up in the mountains. I was gonna try to take this call up there somewhere, but this connection was spotty, so I came back down to civilization to get on the Wi-Fi. But yeah, just taking a day and a half to sort of disconnect from computers and get outside, and mountains is one of my happy places. So meanwhile, still been doing some one-on-one coaching, and there's a theme that's come up a bunch that I thought we'd explore today, and it's this thing that I'm sure we all do to a certain degree, saying yes when we actually mean no. And the reasons for that, like anything, there's a spectrum or a continuum for um, sometimes we say yes, and it might be a joyful kind of like, hey, you want a scoop of ice cream? And the answer is kind of like, no, not really, but there's something joyful about, sure, let me try the ice cream. If that, I'm happy to say yes to that. It's not that big of a deal. Other times we say yes to things that are a really big deal because we're um, usually has something to do with fear on one end of the continuum, fear of um, being punished. So maybe as little kids, we weren't allowed to speak up or speak our truth. And so we had to comply and go along with certain things. And then maybe we find ourselves as adults in this sort of people pleasing realm. I'm afraid to really speak up and say that I don't like a certain food, or that I actually, I don't want to go out tonight, or I don't want to spend time with these friends this evening. And there's a fear there that will result in I'm somehow not pleasing someone. There's also this moralistic layer that shows up for this. What does it mean to be good? So I'm afraid of saying no to taking this class, or I need to get a certain grade in order to be perceived as good, or get the approval of those around me. Then all the way through to, gosh, if I say no to this, it's going to turn into a big thing. People are going to say they feel hurt or displeased or whatever it might be. The point being is, I think there are lots of different ways in which we do this. And I thought today we'd spend a few minutes kind of dropping in to that and making contact with that part of ourselves that probably not that long ago, probably, you'll be able to find some examples either even this morning or in the last few days where there was that wasn't an authentic me showing up. That was me trying to manage someone else's expectations of what what I thought they thought I should be doing, that kind of thing. So anyway, let's try that out. Start by closing your eyes, bringing the attention to parts of our body that are in contact with the ground, either directly or indirectly, starting with the feet. Notice how solid the ground is. It's vast, it's heavy. Our feet making contact with the ground. There's a reliability there, which is why grounding is such an important part of our practice here. So we're making contact with something that's really solid, much bigger than us. We can derive some strength and clarity from that, the solidity of the ground. And if you're sitting in a chair, noticing the parts of your legs and your pelvis and your hips and your lower back in contact with the chair, which is also connecting to the ground. Of course, this is a reminder for what we can do at every point throughout the day, because we're always connected to the ground somehow, whether you're at the grocery store or in your car at a stoplight, or you're standing in the kitchen at home. Always just close your eyes for a few moments and get in touch with this experience that we're stimulating right now. We're going to use this sensation of solidity and groundedness to help us explore maybe a part of ourselves that feels insecure, is unsure. It's the part of us that says yes, and deep down there might be a no. So see if you can bring to mind a recent experience that you had in which you complied, or you said yes, maybe already during the experience itself. You're like, why am I doing this? This isn't authentic. Or maybe it took you a little bit of time to catch up to it later on, where you asked yourself, why did I do that? That wasn't a wholehearted yes. That was me lying, maybe feeling coerced or scared. Sometimes it takes the form of us even verbally agreeing with something that isn't really true for us. I know lots of political conversations can end up there because we're afraid of conflict, or so we just kind of nod our head. We use words to say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense to me." In reality, it doesn't. So just notice the part of you that is driving that behavior, the part of you that's afraid to speak up. You speak up a little, but not all the way. So there's sort of a little acquiescence there, but not a real wholehearted stance. And the idea is not to come at this part of ourselves with judgment or any kind of moralistic right wrong thinking, but it's really about opening our hearts and opening up our awareness to, yeah, what is that part of me that is afraid or folds or allows myself to be a little bit of a doormat to other people's strong opinions or ideas? Or how young is that part? Whose voice is that says that I should say yes right now, even though it's not true for me? We want to meet that scared part of ourselves with kindness and compassion and curiosity. Try to understand what the story is there, what the fear is, so that we can, so the adult part of ourselves can support that part in saying it's okay. You can stand up for yourself. We can be authentic here. I suspect this ability or this skill to say no or speak our truth or authentically show up will become an increasingly important part of our process, especially as things evolve out there in the world, internationally, nationally, politically, socially. And we together strive to be more able to say yes when we mean yes and no when we mean no. Really honor the difference. And take practice. It's going to take repetition and doing and support. Setting the intention to do so. Another really cute way that this has been presented to me is if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. So leaving you with that notion of, can we become more aware or cognizant of any kind of resistance that we have, especially if it's fear-based, that has us comply with things that we don't actually feel good about. What would it take to get to a hell yeah? I go ahead and take a deep breath in, long, slow out breath, settling into the ground even deeper, the feet, pelvis, back, settling and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more deep in breath through the nose. Slow exhale, sinking into the ground, finding the solidity. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, open your eyes. Come on back to the session. Yeah, the practice that I alluded to earlier of, several times a day, grounding is one of those is one of those foundational skills as well. And the cool thing is you can practice it wherever, when you're on the phone, at the grocery store, and it literally takes 10 seconds, and it's really just about stimulating those neural networks that give us that palpable subjective feeling of like, wow, I'm anchored to the ground, gravity's pulling me down. And there's something really empowering about being able to make that contact with the ground on demand. So hope that's a useful tip, and hope to see you tomorrow. I'll stick around for a few if anyone wants to chat.